So apparently I now have over 1,000 listens on Spotify, which I didn't know until literally just opening up the app to see what episode I'm on so I could record this. Because I'm really bad. I'm really bad at promoting anything, tracking anything. If it's not automated, it's not getting tracked in my life. So thank you to everybody who listens to this. That is incredible. And most of you, I think, are just repeat listeners week to week or whenever I post. We're not on a fucking schedule here, people. I think that's pretty clear now. It's just whenever I feel like uploading. And I'm realizing that this is now, first of all, I don't think 1,000 listens is all that good. Or I don't know. You know what? It's fine. It's pretty exciting for me. But the reason why I say that is because I've been doing this for a long time. And I was just thinking, like, how long has it been since I went part-time? And I think it's been like 5 months. And I started this podcast before that. So have I been doing this for 6 months? Oh my God. But yeah, it's been 5 months since I went part-time. And it's really funny to me that I was like so anxious and full of nerves before I started going part-time because I didn't think I was going to survive and that my life would just be going off the edge and I'd be like homeless or something. And to be fair, like things haven't necessarily gone as planned. I've had some really expensive months. I've overspent a few times and I had to withdraw from savings, put money back in savings. I don't know if I've totally made up that savings yet, actually. I think I'm close. But really, it's been pretty chill. And even when I like had to problem solve, it wasn't like a disaster. I wasn't having panic attacks or anything. Okay, I definitely haven't made up my savings yet. I just checked. I'm still about $2,000 down, and I have $3,000 on a credit card, which I will pay by the next statement. Please, nobody message me. But yeah, no, I'm still working on that. And I do occasionally work more hours still. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back down to 20. At no point have I wished to be full-time again. Ever. It's still like, how can I work less? Please. And again, I don't dislike my job. I really can't think of anything else I would be doing right now other than this. And I do look sometimes, and I even apply to full-time jobs sometimes and other part-time jobs. But like, as far as part-time jobs go, this really isn't the worst. Now, what I'm going to do if I ever get an interview for another job, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I applied to, I forget if I mentioned this. I may not have wanted to because it was like kind of tentative. I don't know. But if I didn't, I did get an interview like right off the bat. I like found a job that I thought I was qualified for, applied, and like immediately got a request to interview. And I didn't end up getting it, which I'm not too heartbroken over, but that seemed like insanely lucky for me. Usually I have to, apply for months and months or a year before I get a good job. Well, not an offer even, but like before I get consistent interviews, I feel like, and this happened like right away, and then I didn't get it. And now it's been like just rejection after rejection. And I won't lie, I'm kind of grateful for every rejection I get. I'm sure I could also get a full-time job again if I wanted to at my company, but I don't know if I want to because the benefits package just keeps getting suckier and suckier. And it's no longer like making sense for me to use some of their retirement options. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. I am not using those options now, so it's not urgent. I don't really care. It does make me curious as to whether I would feel like as calm and measured about this if the market were in a downturn. Because right now, like basically since I've gone part-time, it's gone up. So like I'm seeing my money increase month after month, even though I'm not working nearly as much. And that I think has some psychological impact on me. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, if I were seeing my money go down, would I feel this way? So I guess I'll probably find out eventually once there's a downturn if I'm still part-time. it shit might get real. Anyway, I wanted to talk about grocery spending. And if you are following me on Instagram, and side note, if you're not, it's bitch.fires, and you can check out my stories. That's in particular what I'm talking about now. I don't post. I don't actually post. I just put up stories because I know they get deleted. So like my shame disappears. Anyway, if you have been following me, then you know I have been experimenting with groceries lately. Specifically, maximalist grocery spending. I am not picking the cheapest options anymore. I am often picking the way more expensive options. I'm going grass-fed, pasture-raised, local, cream line, dairy, da-da-da. And it's probably not permanent. But I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because I feel like there's a lot of pressure in the personal finance community, or FIRE in particular, where you like want to keep your expenses as low as possible. And one of those is groceries. And that makes sense because the top 3 expenses for most households is food and, of course, living, like your rent or your mortgage. And transportation. So targeting those 3 things is a pretty safe bet. I would always try to cut back on the bigger items rather than the smaller items because it'll have more of an impact. And I did that. I did that for many years. For a while, I was trying to live, like for 2 years, I think, I cooked at home. I didn't eat out very often, and I tried to keep everything to $2.50 per serving or less. This was a few years ago, so that's like maybe less feasible now. I think you could still do it. I think if you wanted to, you could still do it. Don't ask me to try though, because that's not my era right now. And of course, that's per serving. Like I'm one person, so getting food for me is pretty minimal. So I have the room, frankly, to play around a little bit in my grocery budget. If I had kids, if I were supporting a partner and kids or whatever, it wouldn't be the same situation. And obviously it would be much harder. But I'm just one person. So if I spend $6 on yogurt rather than $3, that's $3. It's just $3. And that'll last me a couple weeks probably. So, anyway, so just to talk a little bit about my like grocery journey. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, wow, there is a very small and specific group of people who would ever listen to this shit. Because who the fuck cares about grocery spending? Me, I love it. I love watching people's grocery videos. I love seeing what they spent their money on. I just love to see what people eat. It's my favorite thing. So if you're like that, here you go. So I actually ate pretty fucking bougie when I got my first job. I've talked about this and like my mindset before. I just felt like I had unlimited money. And first of all, I had recently started eating meat again. I was a vegetarian for a long time throughout my childhood. And I had recently started eating meat. I wanted to like do it, what I thought was the right way / what I kind of think is the right way. But I also know that you have to weigh budget, time, energy, all these things when making food choices. And ultimately, we're all just trying to survive here. So no judgment. But all this to say that I actually started my grocery shopping as an adult at Whole Foods. Like I didn't start budget shopping. I started trying to buy local organic everything and keeping a close eye on like ingredients and sodium and sugar and animal welfare certifications, those kinds of things. And it wasn't until a few years later when I was like reevaluating my spending because I was in debt and struggling every month and stuck in a job that I hated, that I started to experiment with like shopping deals, going to cheaper stores like Aldi and Walmart, and specifically looking at clearance items in those places. And also like, this is kind of a different topic, but I also started like cooking from my pantry rather than trying to like pick a meal where I had to go buy most of the ingredients. I would try to see what I already had. And I learned a lot about cooking during that time and figuring out what flavors could go together out of what I currently had available to me, how to like dress up cheaper cuts of meat, and look for, good produce from even when it was on clearance. And it, like, honestly, it was all really fucking good. Like, I feel like most of what I ate, like, I still ate well. I still feel like I ate well and I enjoyed it. And chances are I'll be doing that again at some point. It's not like every month I have extra money to spend in my grocery budget. That's not going to happen. But this month I do. Not much is going on this month. And I gotta say, I understand why people try to find like local farmers and stuff like that to buy their ingredients from, because it seriously has been tasting so much better. Like, my cooking tastes so much better than what it used to. And that like really sucks. I hate that. I hate that like you can taste a difference when you buy more expensive things. Not like, that's not a blanket statement. Like, I'm not buying the most expensive things. In fact, a lot of the local things that I've been purchasing are more expensive if you go to a like Whole Foods, but they're generally not like Aldi cheap. They're not like Walmart cheap. And I hate that for us. I don't have a good solution. It really bums me out that like your means gives you access to better food. That blows. Like, for example, I got eggs that were $6 a dozen, and by like Aldi standards, where they're less than $2 in my area right now, that's, big price increase. But if you were to go to like Whole Foods and look at, what was I looking at? Like the Vital Farms, the pasture raised eggs, those are like $7 to $8 here. So it's kind of like, it's not the most expensive way to shop, I guess is what I'm saying. And P.S., I go through a dozen eggs in like a month. It takes me a while. So it really isn't adding too much to the overall budget for me, but for a family, it certainly would. It still adds up, of course, even just for me. Like, if I'm going all out on everything, it definitely adds up. But I am a lot more efficient, I think, in the kitchen than I used to be. I do find it funny that, like, when I switched to budget eating, after eating, like, mostly sustainably or as well as I could, or with the information that I had, I didn't notice, like, a dramatic decline in quality the way that I've noticed a dramatic incline in quality now. And I think maybe it's just because I didn't know how to cook as well. Because I remember distinctly thinking, like, wow, everything tastes better when other people cook it for me. It doesn't taste good when I cook it. And I just, like, for some reason had no self-awareness. I was like, that just must be how it is when people cook. And now it's like, I don't feel like that. Now I feel like I actually crave what I cook, because I've learned to cook to my tastes, I guess. Not saying I'm I didn't go to culinary school. I'm not like trained or anything, but I've learned what I like and how to cook things to my taste preferences. So yeah, I think that's about all I can get out of this topic. That's what's going on with me grocery wise. My God, if you listen to that, thank you. Holy shit. And if you want to if you want to share your updates on your grocery spending, if you need someone who's going to be interested in that, tell me. I'm that person. I love hearing about grocery shopping. Just thought it'd be fun to say a little bit about spending more at the grocery store, since I think talking about how like we all need to be scrimping and saving at the store these days is kind of a bummer. Maybe this was less of a bummer. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram at bitch.fires. I am in the stories more frequently than I am anywhere else. And I also post these podcast episodes sometimes whenever the fuck I feel like it, allegedly on Wednesdays, but that's actually not correct. So subscribe. That's the plug. Please subscribe. Thank you. Maybe we'll get to 2,000 views. Or no, that's not what this is. 2,000 plays. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, if you're new, hi. If you're not new, thank you so much for continuing to listen to this. Regardless, I love you, and I'll see you soon.